guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessie and today I'm going to be doing my November wrap up. November was actually a great month for me as far as my reading. I actually ended up reading 11 books, which is a lot for me. But before we get into the books that I read, I thought I'd give you some stats I wrote down. So I actually read 11 books. I read 2 male authors, 9 female authors. My average rating for the month was 3.9. The total of pages was 3,505 pages. As far as genres, I read 4 horror, 4 thrillers, 2 romances, and 1 historical fiction. Like, who am I? As far as formats, I actually read 2 ebooks and 9 physical books. 4 of the books were actually from the library. And as far as like other additional services I use, I actually use Script, Libby, and Libro FM. So let's go ahead and get into November's books. So starting off the month, I actually did a reading vlog where I actually read Gabby Reed's reading recommendations. If you guys are curious to watch that vlog, I will link the video in the description down below. In that video, I actually read 3 of Gabby's horror favorites. The first one I read was by Stephen King. It is 1922. I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. Just a general synopsis. It is about this man who has a wife and a 14-year-old son. They actually live on a farm in 1922. Well, anyways, the husband and wife are having some differences and the wife actually wants to sell the farm and move to the big city, and the husband does not want to do that. And like old Stephen King fashion, you know, you can't just have like differences, one has to get murdered. So the husband actually plans to murder his wife so he can keep his farm. But not only does this happen, he actually gets his 14-year-old son to help him commit this murder. After that deed is done, things starts happening around the farm. Some creepy, gross, spooky things start happening. For the most part, I really did enjoy this book. It was only like 130 some pages and it's a short story novella, and I really did enjoy this one. It's not my favorite Stephen King one. I have not seen the movie on Netflix. I've been told I should watch it, but I don't know. I haven't decided yet. The next one I read was Kill Creek by Scott Thomas, and I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed this book so much, and it's kind of weird. In that vlog, you will actually see me like struggle in the beginning because it does have a very slow beginning and it's just building up to the actual event of what's going to happen. If you have not read this one, it is about 4 famous horror authors who are invited to go stay into this very well-known haunted house, and yeah, things start happening and it gets real creepy real fast. A little gory too, I would say. I really enjoyed this one. I will say the first half is quite slow, but you're getting to know all the characters and their backstories, and it's actually building up to this like crazy thing that happens in the book. So if you have not read this one, I would definitely give this one a shot. The last book that I read for that video was Brother by Nya Elbourne, and I absolutely love this one. I think this is my favorite out of all of them. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars. This one was so good. I would definitely recommend you read this one. I absolutely loved it. It is about this guy named Michael, and basically all of his life he's been growing up with this family who are just a bunch of serial killers. They lure these women in. One of the girls that they actually take, he actually starts to kind of grow feelings for, and then he kind of realizes like, is this really the life I want to live? So I would definitely check this one out. I will say this is very gory. So if you're like uncomfortable with that kind of content, I would definitely stay away from this one, but I absolutely love this one. The next one that I read was The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is a super short book. I got this from my local library, and I was going to read this one for Gabby's vlog that I did, but I realized she, according to her Goodreads, she has not read this one, but I know she loves the show. But I did, for the most part, enjoy this one. I only gave it 3 stars. I did start the show. I'm still like trying to get into it, but I don't know. One of the main reasons why I wanted to read this book was I loved Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, and I've been told like that book had a lot of like Haunting of Hill House vibes, so I wanted to check it out. This book was written in the 50s or 60s, so I do think the writing style was a little harder to get through, but overall I did enjoy this one, but I'm hoping that I will like the show a little bit more. The next book that I read was The Three Mrs. Wrights, and this was a NetGalley arc, so thank you so much to the publisher as well as NetGalley. But I gave this one 3.5 stars. I overall enjoyed the general story, but it's kind of forgettable. Like, I honestly don't really remember exactly what this book is about. I know it's about this guy who is like seeing 3 different women, and they kind of find out what's going on. So yeah, but I'm going to read you the NetGalley review that I put on there. I said, going into this book blind was an amazing choice. I knew nothing about this book, but reading it with no expectations was the best way to go. I love the concept of how the characters are grouped together, and the outcome was really good. I loved each lady's point of view, but I would love to see more of John, who is the dude that's like, you know, messing with all these women. So I would recommend this one if you're looking for something like not totally serious or mind-blowing, or if you're just getting into thrillers. I think this would be a really good choice for you. The next book that I read was Confess by Colleen Hoover, and I do want to say thank you so much to Sylvia for my gifted copy for my birthday. I absolutely loved this book, and I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars. As we all know, I love Colleen Hoover. Like, her writing style is just so amazing, and I love it. And I love how she makes me care for these characters so much. But if you did not know what this one is about, it is about a woman named Elbourne who is in the city, and basically she runs into this artist named Owen, and basically they kind of like hit it off from the start. There's like this sexual, like, romantic chemistry going between them, but they can't be together. And oh my god, there is so much in this book that is just amazing. I absolutely loved it. I was rooting for these 2 characters the whole time, even though everything in their life was pulling them apart. And the cool thing about this book, it actually has pictures, which I thought was so interesting. Like, look at this artwork. Owen is an artist, and so he owns this really cool like studio in the city. And what I think is really cool is his studio is called Confess, and basically people can leave their confessions, and he turns the confessions into artwork, and then he has like an auction or like a selling party or whatever they're called to sell his artwork, which I find so amazing, and I love that concept. That was one of my favorite things. But I absolutely love this story. I would love to see this into like a movie, because I would so cry my eyes out in a movie form. The next one that I read was I Found You by Lisa Jewell. I was planning on doing a spoiler vlog for this book, but unfortunately, I really did not like this book as much. And the more I keep thinking about it, the more I realize I did not like this book at all. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It's very typical. I saw everything happening like right before my eyes. Like, it's very predictable. And I don't know, like, I know Lisa Jewell is one of those authors that people like love and adore, and they just like she's an auto-buy author. But I just did not find this one that great. I don't know, like, I feel like I've read stuff like this before, even though this was an older book, but I don't know. I just wasn't a fan, and I was vlogging for that video, but I wasn't enjoying the content. I wasn't enjoying the book. So I wanted my first spoiler vlog to like actually have a better outcome. So that's why I did not publish that video. The next book was actually a surprise. It was a historical fiction, I guess, but it is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And I know, I am the last person to ever read this book. But guess what? I absolutely loved it. I ended up giving it 5 stars, even though I did find some of the things in the story a little bit problematic. If you don't know what the story is about, it is about a woman named Monique who gets this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to interview the infamous Evelyn Hugo, who is a old Hollywood star who starred in all these famous movies, and she has a very private life. So Evelyn Hugo is giving her the exclusive interview that everybody wants. And Evelyn Hugo has been married 7 times, so everyone was very curious, like, why was she married so many times? Like, who was her one true love out of all of her husbands? And you guys, this book was so good. Like, I can understand why people love this book so much. It was so interesting to read about, like, a famous person's life from, like, the start of their stardom to, like, now when they're, like, much older. However, without going into spoilers, there was some things that I did find problematic with Evelyn's, you know, true love, which I'm not going to mention. I just didn't love how the two of them did things, or their communication was not that great, and also how, I don't know, like, I feel like the one person that I loved and hated in this book was Evelyn, and I just feel like her communication skills and her decision making was like not great. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but I mean, that's what made the conflict in the story. However, I'm just like, why would you do that? I absolutely love this one. If you have not read it, please do yourself a favor and pick it up. It's so good. The next one that I read was The Escape Room by Megan Golden, and I gave this one 4 stars. I really wanted to pick up Megan Golden's other book because I loved The Night Swim by her, and I gave that one, I think, 5 stars. And so this one was just okay. I did really enjoy the story. If you don't know what this one is about, it has like that corporate office, like everyone wants to be on top. Everyone's like, you know, kind of self-centered, selfish, you know, they all want that promotion and things like that. And so they get into this escape room and things start to turn deadly, but you also have like this backstory of, I can't remember her name, but one of the girls in the story who basically you see her get this job opportunity, and like in the past leads up to what's happening in the escape room. I really do love Megan Golden's writing style because like she talks about stuff that's actually relevant in today's society. Like The Night Swim has to do with rape culture. I think The Escape Room has to deal with like, you know, sexism and like lifestyle in corporate offices, which I thought was a really good topic to write about. It just didn't have that, I don't know, The Night Swim was just so much better in my opinion. So I gave it 4 stars. However, I feel like a 3.5 is more accurate. Next, I read The Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. So I wanted to give Lisa Jewell one more try, and I did give this one 4 stars. I did like this one a lot better. To kind of give like a general synopsis, it has that like girl gone missing, there's a creepy neighbor, things like that. So I definitely loved this one a whole lot more. I felt like it was a little bit more original. It had more tropes that I actually cared about, like missing people or babies is like one of my favorites. So I definitely loved this one a little bit more. I did find the plot twist quite surprising. Like I did not see that plot twist coming, and I absolutely loved it. This was a book of the month pick, so I would definitely check this one out. And lastly, the last book that I picked up for the month, I barely made the November mark, but it was Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. By the way, this is not my copy. This is from the library, but I love this one a lot. I gave this one 4 stars. This one was quite different than most of her books. I felt like this one had a lot of steamy sex scenes in this one, which I was not prepared for, but like I wasn't mad about it. It's not that surprising that this one had a lot more sex scenes because this one has the trope of like friends with benefits, so obviously there's gonna be a lot more hooking up, but I did really enjoy this one. You're following this woman named Tate who is moving into the city with her brother, and their next door neighbor in their apartment complex is named Miles. They have this sexual tension. They kind of like have this agreement to just hook up, but obviously feelings get involved. But Tate starts falling in love with Miles. Miles is like, we're never going to be more than anything than just, you know, sex buddies. And then you get chapters of Miles in his past and what led to like a traumatic event that is making him so standoffish and reserved. And I loved the chemistry between the two. I did dock a star because like one thing I've noticed with Colleen Hoover's male authors is like, oh, I have a dark secret past, but I can't tell you. I'm a dangerous person, but I can't tell you. Like, I get it. I love it. But it gets a little annoying at times because I'm like, just tell them. So yeah, I loved this one and I'm looking forward to more Colleen Hoover books. Alright guys, that is everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know in the comments what your favorite book that you read for the month of November. And make sure you check out my Instagram. It's at @readingwithjess_. I post a lot of book hauls and things like that over there. And of course, as always, I would love for you guys to subscribe so you don't miss out on another video. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers and I would love to hit that real soon and have you guys all be part of the Reading with Jess family. So as always, I hope you guys are all doing well and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!